For this project, I'm going to be talking about the term withedness. This term was made up by Jacob Koonin, and it pretty much means that a teacher knows what's going on inside and outside of their classroom. They know the lingo that their students are using, what's going on in their students' lives, and different things involving social media, technology, friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, and even family issues. Withedness is very vital to classroom management. Do you remember sitting in your classroom as a young child or even as a high schooler and you thought that you could get away with anything as soon as the teacher turned their back because you didn't think that they knew what was going on? Um, as children, and even as high school and college students, we often feel as though our teachers just don't get it. We feel as though they're kind of naive and they just aren't understanding what's going on. However, they aren't as naive as we think. Um, there are several reasons why teachers need to be with it, especially teachers that are just coming into the workforce, because students are going to try and walk all over them, whether they are little kids or high school students. And witness can also help a lot with behavioral issues and different things such as that. So, why being with it is so important? It's probably one of the most important components of successful classroom management. When a teacher knows what's going on with their students, they are not going to struggle as much as teachers who are just oblivious. I used to have teachers in high school who just they didn't get it. They didn't understand what we were talking about and different things that were going on in our lives. And being with it doesn't mean that you're necessarily always going to catch students in the act of doing something bad. It could just be understanding where they're at in their cognitive development, even physical development. It could there's so many factors that can go into just being with it with your students. So, how to become with it? There's not like a set way to become in tune with your students exactly. However, I think just really listening to your students, knowing what type of dynamic your classroom is, the different cultures, the diversity, just the different students you have. And you also need to look at their age. What are these kids into? If they're in high school, are they into the vaping? Are they into all this other stuff that's so popular now? I also think that social media has a huge part of being with it. Doesn't mean that you need to go stalk your students' social medias. However, I think being in tune with what's going on in the world and even current events, because students right now in our society, that's what students are doing. They're on social media. They're looking at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and that's how they are getting a lot of their information, and that's what they are spending a majority of their time on, to be honest. So, some examples from my experience in the classroom. I obviously am not a teacher, but I work at an after school program where we have kids from kindergarten to fifth grade. So there's a whole range of age group in there. I there it's not even for behavioral issues necessarily that I have used with itness. It's more just to relate to kids. Like I had a student who was talking about videos he saw on YouTube and he thought that I had no idea what he was talking about. However, I did, and the fact that I knew what he was talking about and I could talk about it with him because I knew what it was helped us kind of grow our relationship because then we bonded over that. So, although not every teacher is going to be with it, and a lot of teachers who are a little more old fashioned and have been around a little longer are not always with it because they don't know what's going on with the younger generations necessarily. But new teachers and young teachers are entering the teaching field every single day, and I think it's very important that we learn how to be with it and how to really connect with our students, not only for disciplinary issues, but also just to know what's going on in their lives. But it does help with disciplinary issues. For example, a lot of students might use lingo or different apps or whatever to talk about teachers or other students, and it could be a form of bullying. But if teachers are with it, we can potentially put an end to some of that because the students won't think that they can get away with everything behind our backs because we're with it. Thank you.